Okay, so we've got our apple, and most of your apples are probably looking just like this. So let's add a new layer. I'm going to bring this up to the top. It's going to be important that your layer color is not red. A lot of times when you have the first layer, the second layer you create is going to be red. So let's double click on this layer and give it something that's going to show up against the red. So a nice blue, maybe a violet, whatever color you feel. All right, let's pick this medium blue. I'm going to say OK. So now we can zoom in on the apple. I'm holding down space in the control, space bar in the control key, and by holding down the space bar, I can move things around. Okay, so let's take the pen tool, and we're going to go around the apple. As we go around the apple, I'm thinking about how I'm going to set up my layers, because all these objects are going to be layered one over top of the other, and we can use this to our advantage very cleverly by covering up certain portions and not digitizing everything that we need. Okay, so I'll explain this in a second here. So there we go. Let's give this a black stroke. All right, and then I'm going to come back. Let's minimize this. Don't need this yet either. So now I'm going to envision this shape that I just created as being this color. I'm going to call that my base color. So then I can come here and create a highlight color. And I'm going to try and go along this edge as much as possible. And we'll end there. Now if I hold down Alt, I can put a corner in, drag that back out, and depending on how precise you want to be and how many colors you want to add, depends on how you want to work this. Since this is just a demo, I am not going to be that precise because I don't think you guys feel like watching this video for all that long. So here I've got my shape. Now if I wanted to put this red shape in here, I can come in and create a new shape. So I'm going to hit my control key and click, so that's off now. And I'm going to come back down and I'm going to roughly follow this red shape. I would not go crazy and get all the tiny little details because I think that's going to be distracting for the viewer. But here's an important point. So now I'm coming up here and watch this. Rather than trace along this edge, which I will probably not be able to trace exactly and make it look easy, I can come up here and create lines that are going to go underneath my highlight shape. Okay, I'll show you this in a minute. Let's do a couple more shapes just very quickly. All right, so we can do the same thing again here by creating this line. And once again, when I get back up into here, I can just do polygons because this is all going to be covered up. Work smarter, not harder. It's wonderful. Okay, so now let's take a look. When I'm creating things, I'm going to start with the smaller shapes and work to the larger shapes when I put in my color. So I can create these shapes in whatever order I like, but when I go to add the color, I want to grab those small shapes first, because if I grab the big shapes, I can't see what's underneath. So let me demonstrate that. So here, if I click with my eyedropper tool, I can't see anything. Here, I'm going to hold down the control key, and notice I still have the eyedropper selected. Right? So by holding control, it toggles out of that. I can click here. Now I have that color defined. Okay? And I have another small shape up here. I can click this. Okay? these shapes are getting a little bit bigger, so I can click here. But wait, what would happen if I hold down Control key and the open bracket right next to the T key? Okay. So now I can relayer that object. I can click on this guy, holding down the Control key, get that red color, hold down the Control key, open bracket right by the T key on the keyboard, and look at that. So by doing that, I can come up with shapes like this. And when I go to digitize my shapes, they may not be the color that I want them to be. They may look a little awkward. So I can change them. I can edit them. Just because if the eyedropper doesn't come up with a color that I like, I can come in and fine-tune those colors. So let's take a look here. I can get my colors. I can put the fill color on top. You can pull your colors from here. You can pull your colors from here and then fine-tune them. Into something that looks more pleasing to the eye. So maybe what you've done doesn't look all that great. All right. What if you got a really crazy color and you think it's almost there? You can come down here and mess with the opacity. As long as it is not one up here, because remember, some of your shapes are going to have those polygons on the edge. So if you have a completely contained shape, you may be able to use the transparency function. Okay, so now let's go back, zoom out, and this is just a basic example. Want to get crazy? Let's go back to Photoshop. What if we took a photo of somebody and went and posterized that? We've got 4 levels, 8 levels. Here you may have to play with things a little bit more, but notice how clearly defined some of these breaks are. This will really help you out if you really want to play with your posterization, and maybe you can move into actually doing a face or a portrait of somebody. Okay? See how you do with this. I think this is a great way to get into digitizing photos. And if you have any questions or need any help, please let me know.